Why do smart people do drugs? This question sounds like a joke, but it is not. Throughout history, some of the most brilliant minds have sought chemical escape. Freud did cocaine. Sartre took mescaline. Nietzsche was addicted to opium. Walter Benjamin experimented with hashish. These were not stupid people making bad decisions. They were geniuses who found reality unbearable. And the same impulse that drove them to drugs drives millions of people today to something far more accessible. Doom scrolling. Swipe, swipe, swipe. The mechanism is identical. The goal is the same. To turn down the volume on consciousness. To lose your mind without losing your life. Let us start with the drugs. Sartre, the father of existentialism, took mescaline regularly. He described his experience as being chased by lobsters for months after one trip. And yet he kept doing it. Why? Because existentialism is exhausting. Sartre wrote that man is condemned to be free. Freedom means you are responsible for everything you do, everything you are, everything you become. There is no God to blame, no fate to hide behind. That level of responsibility is crushing. Mescaline was not recreation for Sartre. It was a vacation from freedom. A few hours where the weight of existence was not on his shoulders. You do not need to be an existentialist philosopher to understand this. You have felt it. That moment when your own thoughts become too loud and you reach for something, anything, to turn them off. Then there is Nietzsche. He was addicted to opium while writing on the genealogy of morality. He suffered from debilitating migraines, vomiting, near blindness. Opium was medicine at first, but it became something more. In Ecce Homo, Nietzsche wrote that if one wants to do away with an unbearable pressure, hashish is necessary. Nietzsche was not a hedonist. He did not believe in pleasure for its own sake. He believed in power, in overcoming, in becoming what you are. And yet even he needed to escape himself sometimes. The man who wrote Become Who You Are also needed to forget who he was. This is not hypocrisy. This is what it means to be human. Consciousness is a gift and a curse. The more aware you are, the more you understand the need to sometimes turn that awareness off. And then there is Walter Benjamin, the great cultural critic. He wrote an entire essay on hashish in Marseille. He described how under the influence, ordinary objects became portals to meaning. A door handle was not just a door handle. It was the threshold of existence. But here is the darker truth. Benjamin was not just experimenting. He was running. He was a Jewish intellectual in the 1930s, watching the world collapse around him. Drugs were not philosophy for Benjamin. They were survival. When reality becomes too much, the only sane response is to leave it for a while. Now zoom out. These philosophers had access to substances that were illegal, dangerous, and expensive. Most people today do not. But we have something they did not. The infinite scroll. And it works on the exact same neural circuits. Your brain does not know the difference between a dopamine hit from cocaine and a dopamine hit from a new notification. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It is a wanting chemical. It fires when you anticipate a reward, not when you get it. This is why the scroll never satisfies. You are not scrolling because it feels good. You are scrolling because the next thing might feel good. And the next. And the next. The horizon of satisfaction recedes at exactly the same rate you move toward it. This is variable ratio reinforcement. It is the same mechanism that keeps gamblers at slot machines. And it never, ever lets you win. Here is the thing that nobody says out loud. Smart people are more likely to do drugs, and smart people are more likely to doom scroll. Why? Because intelligence correlates with sensitivity. The smarter you are, the more you notice. You notice the injustice, the suffering, the meaninglessness, the hypocrisy, the lies. You notice that most people are pretending. You notice that the systems we live in are broken. You notice that we are all going to die. This awareness is a burden. Drugs and scrolling are not just pleasures. They are painkillers for consciousness. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal wrote that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He was right, but he did not have a smartphone. Doom scrolling is the most democratic escape ever invented. It costs nothing. It is legal. It requires no special connections. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it works. For a few minutes or a few hours, you are not trapped in your own head. You are not thinking about your failures, your fears, your loneliness. You are scrolling, and scrolling, and scrolling, until you look up and 2 hours have disappeared. You did not enjoy it. You were not even really present for it. But you were not suffering either. That is the trade. Temporary numbness in exchange for time you will never get back. So what do we do with this? Nietzsche would tell you to embrace the suffering. To say yes to life in all its horror and glory. That is the path of the Übermensch. But Nietzsche also took opium. The Stoics would tell you to focus on what you can control. Marcus Aurelius wrote the Meditations while leading armies through plague and war. He did not scroll. He wrote. But Marcus Aurelius was also the most powerful man in the world. Most of us do not have that luxury. The real answer is not to stop escaping entirely. The real answer is to notice when you are escaping and ask yourself a simple question. What am I running from right now? If you can answer that question honestly, you might find that you need the escape a little less. You might find that facing the thing you are running from, just for 5 minutes, is less painful than the hours of numbness you trade for it. You might find that you want to feel something again, even if it hurts.